Hello YouTubers! Today I'm going to be reviewing production music library Evolution Media Music. If you're a composer or music producer looking to get your music onto TV, film or games via licensing it to a music library, keep watching to see if these guys could be a good fit for your music and a place for you to start generating an income from your tracks. I'm going to give you a full rundown of who Evolution Media Music are, what kind of music they accept, how to submit to them, and a whole bunch of other ups and downs that you should be aware of before you proceed. For great insider tips on writing production music for music libraries, TV, film and games, subscribe to the Music for Income channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a new video each week. As I'm starting to review production music libraries in videos like this one, it's even more important to subscribe and get notified on here so you can be ahead of the pack when getting your music to these folks. I'm Michael from Music for Income. I'm a professional TV composer and I also run a production music library. Now, for those that don't know, production music libraries sign composers and music producers' tracks and then get them placed on films, TV shows and elsewhere so that you can start earning royalties. Now, if this is all new to you, check out this video that I'll put a card link to above where I'll walk you through everything you need to know about getting started. Today we're going to be talking about the production music library Evolution Media Music. So let's get going. These guys are based in the UK across both London and Manchester, but note you can totally submit to them if you're not based in the UK. So don't let that worry you if you live outside of the UK. They are a team of 6 people, composers, producers, curators and administrators with a range of industry experience. They also say that they like to work closely with their composers and make them feel like they're a part of the team. I once spoke to a big label library music executive who referred to libraries such as this as the potpourri of musical styles. That is to say that if you go through their catalogue, Evolution Media Music don't seem to specialise in any one particular thing. They have music across all sorts of styles. Indeed, album titles range from daytime acoustic to drum and bass moods to cheerful cello. So you can see that there's quite a lot of breadth here. Whilst they might not become a go-to library for a TV editor who specialises in making one style of programming, the flip side is that these guys may well be open to the style of music that you write if you can find a gap in their catalogue. I do like some of their album titles and concepts too, so if you're looking for inspiration for album concepts to write in general, it's actually well worth you going to their website and having a browse around their albums. At the time of making this video, they currently have 210 albums and each has got around 10 tracks in. As you'd expect, a lot of the placements that Evolution Media Music are shouting about are from UK-based shows, and then also a decent scattering of international usage, which is to be expected given that they're a UK-based library with some additional international sub-publishing. Now there's some nice names in there in terms of placements such as Dragon's Den, which is the equivalent of Shark Tank for all my American friends watching. And also they have Strictly Come Dancing and popular UK Saturday night show Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. Mostly I'd say the placements are from mid-sized TV shows. There doesn't seem to be any mention of video game placements or promos or anything from that world. And in terms of movies, they do have some tracks that were used on some promos, but it doesn't seem that they're gonna get you any big trailer placements, for example. So if your music suits mostly TV placement, then they may well be a good match for you. So I've been looking around their site and listening to some of the music. They certainly have some really nice music in there, and the tracks all sound clear, professional, and well produced. And each album seems to deliver on what it promises to be from its title. These guys are clearly not some stock music library happy to take whatever tracks they can just to try and flood the number of tracks that they can offer to their clients. They're represented in several territories outside of the UK by a bunch of different companies, but mostly by BMG, who are, of course, a very large label. So getting your tracks with Evolution Media Music should mean that they get a good chance of being heard by clients in many countries around the world. Evolution Media Music offer an exclusive deal, meaning that once you've signed a track with them, you can't then sign it elsewhere too. It's a 50-50 share on sync fees. That's the money that a client pays to them to license the track. And in terms of royalties, they keep the publisher share and you keep the writer share. So pretty standard stuff there. Now, I reached out to Evolution Media Music twice before I made this video to ask some more questions, but unfortunately, nobody got back to me. One thing to note though is that at least as of a couple of years ago, Evolution have a contract recoup of £25 to cover a share of the costs of mastering your track. I'm certainly aware that some libraries like to master tracks in-house for consistency of sound across their catalogue, but I've not heard of a library charging a composer for a share of that until now. Note though that this is recouped on monies received, so they'll just take that back for themselves before they make your first payout from any usage. Now, one composer was mentioning online about how they recouped £450 off of you if they have to mix one of your tracks. Now, I have absolutely no idea if that is true or not. What I would say is learn to mix your own tracks well, and you shouldn't really ever have to be in that position. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. For example, would you pay out of your royalties for a library to mix your track for you? Also, if you do want to get better at your track mixing, I'll give you a link to a resource later that will tell you how to create great production music for any library, and that includes tips on mixing your tracks from a mix engineer who's worked with Coldplay, Dave Grohl, and Hans Zimmer. But for now, let's get back to the review. So, Evolution Media Music are open to hearing your music, which is great. They note that they do this in two ways. The first they refer to as crowdsourcing, where they create an open brief for submissions online. They do have a briefs tab over at evolutionmediamusic.com, or they say they also post these on their Twitter account. Now, I checked out their Twitter and there was no mention of open briefs going back a good few years. In fact, I went back to about 2017, still couldn't find anything, got a bit bored, and then gave up. There also isn't anything on their briefs page at the moment, but let me give these guys a bit of a break here. From my own personal experience on the team running a music library myself, these briefs pages are rarely ever open or up to date, and at least these guys have one at all, which many libraries don't. What is currently written on their briefs page is this: no briefs currently open, but we also welcome submissions of full albums in your chosen style, 10 to 15 tracks, or a submission of an album concept, 3 to 4 first finished tracks to show that direction before continuing. You can check out some of the other Music for Income YouTube videos for some inspiration on writing tracks that are relevant to current shows. Finding a good concept for your tracks here, one that will appeal to both Evolution and their clients, is the key. The second way that they accept music is what they call direct commissioning. And they describe that as this. This is where we directly approach composers from within our current roster. These are briefs we keep within a small group of composers, playing to writers' strengths. Starting through the crowdsource or music gateway route first is the best way for composers to build a working relationship as a valued member of our team and access these direct briefs in future. Here's some more important information from Evolution to note before you submit anything. To submit, you email us a shareable cloud storage link, Dropbox or box.com for instance, to your on-brief track, or use Music Gateway to submit music via the platform if our brief is listed there. Once submitted, one or more of our production team will review it. If they feel it has good potential for the album, they will contact you to inform you and potentially ask you to make some alterations. During this process of revisions, we work together to get your tracks sounding as strong as they can be through rounds of email feedback. It may seem a critical process, but unlike the A&R departments of many libraries, instead of a flat rejection for tracks which show great potential but aren't there in a ready-made releasable state, we believe in investing time and effort to develop them with composers in an atmosphere of mutual growth and benefit. And it's in everyone's interest to get the track sounding great and securing good usage. So one last thing they say on their website is, what if I submit music and don't hear back? Evolution answered this by saying what all libraries say. We simply cannot respond or give personalized feedback to unsuccessful submissions due to time constraints. Now, I know how frustrating this is as a composer or music producer. I mean, it's the catch-22, right? If your tracks aren't getting accepted, but the people at the top aren't giving you feedback on why, you could spend ages not knowing what to tweak. That would be the difference between lots of income generating placements and getting exhausted and jaded, spending loads of time creating tracks that ultimately nobody is going to sign. Now, I realized this issue a few years ago with the library I run. So not only did I put together a load of advice to help composers with this, I also interviewed award-winning TV editors. Those are the clients who select which library tracks they're going to actually put on the shows, about what they look for within a track. Plus, I interviewed music library executives themselves about which common mistakes composers should avoid when submitting. And I interviewed a few six-figure-a-year library music composers who actually use quite rigid formulas, regardless of what kind of style of music they're writing. Now, I want to give you 3 completely free lessons from this research. The link to this is in the description below. I guarantee you'll find some stuff in there from these excerpts that is really eye-opening and that you can use instantly to make your tracks better. And it's free. Just click on that link and grab your free lessons. So I hope you found this review really useful. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. If there's anything that you want to cover differently, or you have a music library you'd like me to look into for review, just let me know. Lastly, check out the other videos on the Music for Income channel, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified of further videos. See you next time.